Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on wherever you're located. Welcome to the first plenary session of APAN53. In this session, we will have a presentation on blended learning and outcome-based education. The blended learning issue has received a wider acceptance and has lately become highly critical due to the invasion of the deadly pandemic, which forced governments across the globe to announce closure of the universities. On-campus learning became almost impossible, and due to plethora of demerits pertaining to online education, blended learning came as a solution. The paper on blended learning is going to be presented by Dr. Badrul H. Khan, who is a world-renowned speaker, author, educator, and consultant in the field of e-learning and educational technology. The session will be chaired by Professor Dr. Bishoji Chando, Honorable Member UGC to conduct. Let me give a brief introduction to Professor Bishoji Chando. Professor Bishoji Chando joined the University of Rajshahi as a lecturer in the Department of Law after completing his LLB honors and LLM from the same university. Biswajit Chanda holds a Ph.D. in law from the renowned School of Oriental and African Studies, SOAS, London. Prior to that, he practiced law in the High Court Division of the Supreme Court of Bangladesh. Before he joined the University Grants Commission as a member on 3rd September 2020, he was serving as a professor of law and land administration at Rajshahi University. Let me brief the structure of the session. At the beginning of the session, once the chair finishes introducing the speaker, there will be 30 minutes presentation by the speaker. The floor will then be open to the audience to ask questions for the speaker to answer. The question may be asked by using Zoom question answer for the chair to collect your question to forward it to the speaker, or you may raise your hand for the chair to allow you to ask the question by yourself. The question and answering session will be of 15 minutes duration. Finally, the chair will wrap up the session and with his concluding remarks. With that note, I'm going to hand over the microphone to Honorable Chair to conduct the session. Professor Dr. Biswajit Chando, the session is yours.
Thank you. Distinguished keynote speaker and dear participants, I welcome you all to this lecture. And this lecture is on blended learning, as you know. Dear participants, let me at first introduce you with Professor Khan, Professor Badrul Huda Khan. I am delighted to introduce him. He received his PhD in Instructional Systems Technology from Indiana University, Bloomington, USA. While growing up in Chittagong, Bangladesh, during the 1970s, Badrul Khan used to dream about having access to well-designed learning resources available only to students in industrial countries. In the 70s, it was unthinkable to have equal access to those resources. In the 90s, with the emergence of the WWW, that is World Wide Web, Khan's dream of equal access to quality learning resources became a reality. His 1997 best-selling book titled Web-Based Instruction paved the way for the new field of e-learning. This book has been adopted by over 350 colleges and universities worldwide. Professor Khan has published his second book. The title of that book is Web-Based Training, which is a landmark book that covers all aspects of Internet's World Wide Web for training at all levels. He has published some other popular books on e-learning strategies, flexible learning, and related issues. Known as the founder of modern e-learning, Dr. Khan has been honored with many awards and worldwide acclamation throughout his career. Professor Khan is a 2015 Hall of Fame inductee of the United States Distance Learning Association. He is recognized as one of the leaders in open and distance learning, distance education in North America. He is the founder of Gyanabahon, the Knowledge Carrier, a practical application of competency-based lifelong e-learning. Apart from many other responsibilities, Professor Khan served as the founding director of the Educational Technology Leadership Graduate Cohort Program at the George Washington University and as the founding director of the Educational Technology Graduate Program at the University of Texas, Brownsville. As you know, the topic today is very important and timely. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Bangladesh and some other countries have adopted a blended learning policy, and they are going to, or they are already implementing or going to implement that policy very soon. And blended learning is the best way to educate the learners in this new normal. What is the most useful and innovative way of teaching and learning? We will learn everything from the talk of Professor Khan. Now, I would like to request Professor Khan to deliver his well-expected talk. Thank you very much. Professor Khan.
Hello, thank you. Can you hear me, please?
We can.
Okay. I'd like to share my screen. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are throughout the world. I'm Badrul Khan. I really appreciate APAN and Badrul to invite me to talk about blended learning. So within the scope of time, I will be very brief and we'll talk. So I hope to start with my presentation. So we're going to talk about blended learning in the new normal of education. I'm Badrul Khan, and I'm founder of McWeadon Education that helps to train professionals in flexible learning, online learning, etc. So you see what happened. COVID-19 changed the whole world. If you left the earth 3 years ago and you lived in space and you came back and you see things are different. People wearing masks, you know, and the whole world have been masked. And there has been a big change people see. And this change has implication on education too. So because of COVID, you see the whole world wearing masks. Now, I went to the internet and took a capture a picture about the COVID-19. You see all the schools and colleges, students are using masks. So the whole world has changed. So that means the world has changed. And now we have a new normal in education. So what I did, I did so many webinars globally, and I found that most of the students and professors, teachers are saying blended learning is good for normal education. And so I'm going to show you, this is an online, or you can teach online. This is classroom. And then they're together, they become the blended learning. So let me show you simple snippet of online education. And this one is going to open up as a window, and I hope you can hear the sound. Let me see if you can hear the sound.
Design and Technology course. My name is Badrul Khan. I'm so happy to teach this class. So many of you are probably wondering what is e-learning. So let's write E, and then we have learning. So E, you see E means all electronic devices or tools. So that means what you have, everything that you use, like your hardware, like your cell phone, your laptop, your television, radio, satellite, your Wi-Fi, all the technologies, including your learning management system, these are part of all E. When these E technologies are used to develop learning, then we call e-learning. So let me show you, for learning, we have pedagogy, or you can say andragogy. And within that, you have instructional design. So in this course, what we try to do is to make a good combination of this E and learning together and come up with a framework, which is, you see, the framework will appear right here. It does pedagogy and technology together to create meaningful learning. So far you have technology plus pedagogy, and other issues that involve, we're going to study all of it. So in this course, will have a lot of fun, because in this course, you're going to create a meaningful, easily accessible e-learning, which is cost-effective, and also it will be very interactive. So thank you, and with the next.
So what we have now, that I showed you what is online education, and you all are familiar with classroom instruction. Now, last 2.5 years ago, before the COVID, I was in West Bank, Palestine. So I was giving a talk at the Arab American University, and here I'm going to show you what is blended learning be like. We come to a nursing school here, where nursing students can do hands-on on the simulators, then which knowledge they can carry into actually working on the patients in the hospital. So this is another is blended learning. You see, the students can sit here. You see, even though this gentleman is making some maintenance work, but when the students are practicing about pediatrics, nursing, or whatever they're showing, so students also can see from here too. Yes. So this is more like this part is e-learning. Yeah. You're learning through electronic media. Yes. You're watching. Yeah. Then, so this is blended with the classroom, and when they go to the actual hospital, they're actually doing it. So all these are hybrid, and they're all blended. Good, thank you. So what I've done so far, I have showed you online education right here, classroom instruction here. When you put them together, blend them together, it becomes a blended learning. And show you example of blended learning. Now let me continue to today's agenda, because my time is very limited, I know. So chairman should inform me. So blended learning means you meaningfully integrate whatever works, whether in the classroom or the face-to-face, blend in such a way that learning is meaningful. So today, I will help you to understand how do you select what you're going to teach online and what you're going to teach in the classroom. So this is where you see the circle. In here, this is going to do. The next thing will say, how do you design meaningful learning, blended learning? So this is where you're going to see this. And then next I will do, how do you know what they have learned? So here's the assessment. And later on, I will do question and answer. So let's move on. So in here, we use the Bloom taxonomy. In the Bloom taxonomy, things are like this. It goes from simple to complex. So we are going to show you from this approach. This is the complete blended learning approach. So let's work on how do you select what can you teach online, what you can teach traditional classroom. So in the Bloom's taxonomy, you see from simple to complex content. So any courses that you teach, you have based on your objectives. These are the objectives, simpler objectives, difficult objectives. So if it's simpler objectives, I can say that you can teach using online, not live, asynchronous. So any content in your course that you're teaching, if they are simpler, based on the objectives, then you can definitely teach using online method. If the contents are difficult, the complex analysis, evaluation, synthesis, and you have, it's a complex. So for this, you can definitely have to teach face-to-face online. Your presence is needed. So I did a little study with access to information in Bangladesh, about 40 teachers and 3 professors. They reported that, and they found that they can teach most of their courses, whatever is agriculture, or science, or math, 70% online, 30% face-to-face classes. So that's a blending. But don't force it, make it meaningful so that students can benefit from learning. By the way, this is one of my pictures teaching primary students in Bangalore many years ago. So now we have come to the question of how we actually design. We have decided what we're going to teach online, and we have decided what we're going to teach face-to-face classroom. Okay, so here, this is Badrul Khan's e-learning framework or blended learning framework, and this is Khan's P3 model. This model is a process model. This one is the guidance. So let me work on that. So in here, when you look into this framework, you come to the framework. So this framework actually provides the guidance on how to create meaningful learning environment for each unit of instruction, whether it is online or it is face-to-face. So this is the guidance. And in here, this is the process model. This will show you how you do it. Once you decided what you're going to teach online or face-to-face, then you have the guidance of Octagon, gives you the guidance, and you have to do the steps. First, you have to do project plan, storyboard. So it's a people, process, product. What are the people involved? What are the process? And what the product? For every steps, if they're analyzing and planning, they should come up with a product, which is called project plan. At the end, after all this process they go through, they will come toward creating blended learning materials. You can see that. So that is the guidance and process model. Now, what kind of learning environment do learners want in this new normal? So this is going to be important to know. We did a survey. I did a survey globally. And in this global survey, I asked the students from kindergarten to the universities globally, even though the students from Bikran's school in Bangladesh, students from class 9. So what they're saying, and I captured it, first, they're saying that learning has to be very interactive, because interactivity keeps learners engaged in learning with appropriate immediate feedback. They want device independent. In the digital world, learning materials and experiences should be designed to work across multiple devices and platforms. For example, smartphones, tablets, computer, laptops, to take the full advantage of the tools available to them. So they just don't have to be one tool, different kind of tools. So it is device independent. They want to have usable and accessible, meaning the learning material should be designed in the most efficient way, so all learners, including individuals with disabilities, can easily access and learn and use them. And navigation should be very intuitive and consistent throughout the course. And they also talk about single objective focused. In the digital world, learners' attention is very, not that great. So we need to make sure learning experiences should be broken up into focused, single objective focused lessons with measurable outcomes to boost knowledge transfer and retention and keep learners focused. And they also know they wanted to have short duration. What does short duration mean? In the digital world, learners' attention spans are becoming shorter. Therefore, micro-learning or learning in a snippet, a small learning unit, are more attractive to learners. Then you have just in time. They want just in time, which is retention boosting, because delivering content meaningfully in a bite-sized chunks reduces information overload, improves attention span, increases motivation and engagement. Therefore, learners can gain important knowledge quickly at the moment of need, thereby boost knowledge retention. Independent or part of the whole. You see that standalone bite-sized learning snippets can be developed to be consumed independently. So each unit is independent. But no, they are part of the whole course, but systemic, but they're part of the whole course. Therefore, you have one objective, one lesson, but it's a part of your other lessons, other units in the course. So make sure it is independent, but it's a part of the whole. Therefore, when developing independent learning object, consistent navigation, and resources should be consistent. So if you create lesson one objectives, other ones should have the same resources, some consistency, so they don't get, they don't get very upset because other courses are different. No, every single objective focused unit must be consistent, good navigation, same as the rest of the course. And then it has to be cost effective, So they want cost effective. This is what the learners want. Can you design? So this is what learner wanted. Now, how do we design our learning environments with these 8 characteristics that learners need? See, in the new normal, I just showed you, these are the 8 categories of characteristics, attributes in the course they want. So anything in this color, which is cyan color, they are the characteristics of meaningful learning that learners all over the world want. And now we want to, these 8 categories, which is yellow, these are the guidelines for learning environment. So for these characteristics to make it happen for the students, we have these guidelines: pedagogy, technology. Pedagogy deals with anything with learning. Technology deals with infrastructure, hardware, software, interface design, the look and feel of the course. Evaluation means you evaluate how the learning is happening. Students assessment, teachers evaluation. Then you have management, like if you come to the regular class, you take notebook and things like that. But online learning, you need to make sure all the different resources and the links that you use in a course are working. Resource support means that you have technical support, counseling support, library support. These are the resources you must have for this digital world. Ethical consideration, that deal with many different issues: geographical diversity, learner diversity, copyright issues. We'll talk a little bit later on. And institutional deals with administrative affairs, student services, and academic affairs. Let's go further.
Professor Khan, we have
in this framework, you can see.
Professor Khan, can you please hear me? We have 5 more minutes for your speech. Thank you.
So in this framework, you can see that in this octagon, inner octagonal represents the characteristics. So these are the characteristics what the learner wants. We already talked about that. So you need to make sure learning is interactive. They can use it anywhere, any place, any platform. It should be easily accessible to them. Should be single objective focused. It should be short. It should increase retention. It should be very independent, but part of the whole. It should be cost effective. So that is the characteristics. And then outer octagon represents the guiding elements to help design of the learning environment. So you use these guiding principles, 8 categories of principle, to develop this kind of learning environment that students want in the new normal learning. So this is the framework, and I will make this presentation, PowerPoint presentation available to you. So many of you are familiar with this framework, and there are so many books came out, on this framework. And I was looking through some of the books, I found this book based on the framework. The new book came out. It's called Micro Learning Book based on the octagonal framework. There's another book came out. These are award-winning books, data mining on the framework, and other things. There are books. The same framework has the book with MOOCs, my framework. And this one came 2001 in Chinese language, because Russians is coming. I'm just waiting. I'm supposed to go to Moscow in a few months to launch my book. So the book is done, but it's not published yet. So this come in Chinese. This one is Thailand, because APAN, I think, is a Pacific countries involved. So some of this would be useful. And don't forget, Bangladesh one came too. So all the same framework. And what I showed you, so let me talk about within the scope of time, how much time I have, I don't know. Maybe I have.
You have 3 more
maybe,
minutes, Professor Khan.
how much time I have?
3 minutes, please.
How much?
3 minutes. Is it
3?
all right? Yeah.
Okay, give me 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
All right. So in here, as I say in the learning, so these are all subdimensions. So today with the scope of time, I'm going to be very briefly talk about these ones. You see, in institutions, there's something called cryptocurrency, meaning that now the world with Bitcoins and everything, institutions should be thinking about administratively. So think about cryptocurrency for taking a student's tuition or payment. Audience pedagogy that deals with learning. You have to have a great knowledge about your audience because you don't know what they are. So you, and then you go to also in technology, cybersecurity and infrastructure planning, like Badrul, what they're doing, or APAN, they're doing the infrastructure to make sure you make good car as if an e-learning, but car has to run through a highway. So for us, information highway. So infrastructure planning is good to have a good highway so that the student can have their materials go to them quickly. Interface design, page and site design. For example, how you see on the screen. Suppose when I was in Chittagong Collegiate School, I used to play cricket and somebody bowled me out. So they used to go like this, kachkola, green banana. So it's a bad thing in Bangladesh when I grew up, but now this one is like way to go, means you did good, you see, in Western culture. So you are making it locally, but you're thinking globally. Income evaluation, let's talk about adaptive testing. In evaluation, adaptive testing is this, you don't have to have the students taking the whole 3 hours of a test, but you come up with adaptive, based on their answers, you make them pass the class earlier, so they don't have to go through. So you have to come up with what is the difficult question, simpler question, mediocre question. If they do the most difficult question in one domain, so you don't ask any more question there, go to the next. So that's why adaptive testing is good. For the management, you need to help the students, also the teachers and professors about the time management strategies. So this is part of the management dimension of the framework. Resource support, counseling, mental health is becoming one of the biggest issues that I heard from students. So we need to employ good services, technical support services, library services, also counseling services online, so that students, if they have a problem, they don't feel frustrated, but they can go on. And then you have ethical consideration that deals with all the social diversity. For example, we have geographical diversity. Now, this is about, 3 in the morning, like means 3 at night, like a deep night, Gobiratro, okay? My family is sleeping. I'm the only one alive around in America right now. So, but that is geographical diversity, but you are all, it maybe 2 o'clock in Bangladesh and maybe in Malaysia, close to that. So it's called geographical diversity. So you don't want to keep students sleep when you are teaching. If you want to do synchronous live teaching. So you have to have that in your mind. These are the ethical considerations. So having said that, so in the framework, how I come up with the framework, when I was a professor at the University of Texas, I was thinking if I have sent one of my students to Amazon forest who doesn't have anything except the internet connection and a computer, how I teach him. So I put the student at the center of my framework in the model and asked the question. And I found so many questions, I put them together and it becomes the framework. And this book in Bangla, especially badrulkhan.com/BANGLA, you can download it for free. And other books are almost all languages in Malaysian, Vietnamese is coming out, and then I have shown you Chinese and Korean and many other countries books are available. So make sure that you are doing this because you want to help the learners learn. So having said that, what I told you, so I said that in here, in Bangla, ki shikchi means what am I learning? Students will learn, and so show them you're learning this kind of objectives using physical classroom or online. Then how am I learning? Kemon shikchi, how well I'm learning. So in here we have a good guidance and also steps to do it. So and then kototuku shikchi, how much I've learned. So you can do the assessment in the classroom, you see proctored classroom, or you can take online, or if you need your student to show they have learned hands-on, then like a doctor's, nurses learning how to use the stethoscope, then you can do that. And someone doing the technical, do the welding, so they can, use this. So the combination of assessment would be also blended. If it's good, in face-to-face, you do that face-to-face. If can be done online, do it in online. So, okay, this one go to the wrong place. I click on, okay, so I got book 2, my presentation here. So that's all I have. And I say to you, thank you. And I hope I'm too much, okay. And my time is okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Professor
I'm
Khan,
gonna
for
take the-
your fascinating, innovative.
Hello.
And,
I'm finished, and thank you.
okay, no problem. Can you hear me, Professor Khan? Am I audible to you? Professor Khan?
I'm finished.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Khan. I would like to congratulate you for your fascinating, innovative, and useful talk on e-learning. We have learned a lot from your speech, definitely. And we are lucky that we have got you as a keynote speaker, and who is the pioneer in this field, and who is known as the founding father of modern e-learning. Dear audience, now the floor is open for you, open to you, and you can ask questions through chat option, or you can raise your hands. Thank you. Professor Khan, we have got a question. You mentioned that blended learning means e-learning and physical classroom at the same time. What if in a single course, the course tutor or teacher offers same topics through e-learning and some topics through e-learning and some of them in the physical classroom? I mean, some topics he is offering online and the rest he is taking classes physically on the rest of the topics. Can we call it a blended learning? Because
Yeah.
And another question is there, whether Khan's e-learning framework is suitable for every single country, irrespective of their socioeconomic and cultural conditions.
Yeah. In fact, as you know, there's like about 23 languages book has been translated. So, and the Portuguese, Vietnamese, Russian are coming now. So it means it's, but the thing of it, if you have a glass of water or a cup of tea, if you have a different kind of, cups, whatever you put it, it takes that shape. So my framework is done in a way, so it looks at the local pedagogy, the teaching practices, local infrastructure, local technology. So they set it up. When we did the Bangla book, we spent quite a bit of time. Some of the audience maybe helped me those days, that we tried to help people to realize that, what is good for Bangladesh. Like translating the terms, like I said other day, we used to say oxygen, ongar, omlojan. This is very difficult, right? Just say oxygen. That's why we say e-learning. Otherwise, e-learning would be, you can see in the back, in there is the e-shikha, e-proshikhan. So just call it e-learning. But I love Bangla Bhasha. But some of the terms can be used so that it will be better for global communication. So yes, it is done when they're translating the book. Every time we are working with the translator, mostly the professors who used my previous books. So it becomes easier for translator to understand how to use it in their own context.
Okay, thank you. We have received another question. Is there any psychological impact on primary or secondary students?
Could you repeat the question again?
Is there any psychological impact of e-learning on primary or secondary students?
Oh, yes, definitely. Because you see, they have seen their fathers, their mothers, their sisters, they go to regular classes, right? And now all of a sudden, because of COVID, they were working from home. They don't see their classmates. They don't get to play. Because education is not like you have to just, education means that you stay in a room in front of a computer, learn. No, you need to have a regular life. So they miss that. So that's why one of the students she was grade 9, class 9, students from Pennsylvania. One of the webinar, she participated with me. She told me she likes online education. She doesn't have to dress up, anything like that. Right after waking up, she can go to on computer learn. But the problem is that when she was in a regular classroom, she will come out and talk to friends, go out here and there. She misses that. And that psychologically become a problematic for her. So that's why even in Bangladesh, as you know, you also were present in blended learning initiative in Bangladesh under auspices of our education minister, Dr. Deepamoni, and many other ministers who are their respective ministers. We're talking about blended learning. So manushik shikha, like mental health, should be considered, because this is a new paradigm, new normal. This new normal happened once during the World War, things have changed. And this is even major because the COVID hit every different countries, so thing has changed. So we need to make sure is psychologically, small children, even the older students, all have psychological situation because it's a new paradigm of education. If 70% of the materials they learn online, for example, 30% physical classroom, so they get used to it. So we as an educator or professors, teachers, we have to let our students know things are different. That's why my framework will make you go through each steps, checklist that have you done it, because when I'm talking, I put the learner at the center because it's a learner focused system. We are here because we are supporting the learners. If learners happy, that means they're learning, then we are happy. Yes.
Okay, thank you,
We have
Professor
looked into all the challenges that came along with this COVID-19.
Thank you. We have just the last 3 minutes, but we have another question. We have some other questions, but we will ask one more question and we'll expect a very brief answer. How cheating can be minimized during online examination or assessment?
Okay, this is a global problem. Now, if you design the course materials if you ask the multiple choice question, so the student can call, hey, Rohim, what is the answer for that? He can tell you. But if you make the adaptive, because adaptive testing is such that there are thousands of questions there, based on the student's response, the different kinds of questions will be given to you, like randomly.
Random.
So the person sitting next to you would not get the same question as you are. But I'm not into much of these exams, but you make it learning, make it more problem-based. You work with the students, make a good relationship, and you know how the students are learning. But testing is just, so our education system, if I may, my criticism would be, we are learning to pass the test, but we should learn what we are learning. So it doesn't matter how long you take to learn something versus whether you have learned. So you have a mastery. Can you learn? Can you perform?
Okay, thank you, Professor Khan.
That is, the education system should be thinking about learning that can be assessed, objectives, outcome-based, and what they have. I was told that they should be able to learn, and they have learned. And if you have started doing true, false, multiple choice, that is room for plagiarism. But you make a good relationship with the students and give problem-based, project-based, and different types of,
Thank you, Professor Khan. Our time is over, so I will just wrap up in a minute. Thanks once again, and I must congratulate you for your innovative ideas and this very useful and fruitful talk today. We have learned about your framework for meaningful learning, which includes institutional, pedagogical, technological interface design, evaluation of content development, e-learning environment, evaluation of program and institutional levels, evaluation of assessment of learners. We have learned about, in this, under this head, framework for meaningful learning, the management, resource support, ethical considerations, everything. And we have also come to know your ideas relating to what am I learning, where am I learning, how am I learning, how much am I learning. And you have taught all of us that what is the most useful and innovative way of teaching and learning. You did not only talk about e-learning, you also included learning as a whole, which includes e-learning and classroom, pedagogical issues of classroom teaching as well. This is really a very useful session. I believe the audience have been benefited from this talk, and I thank APAN and also BDREN for their initiatives and for organizing this APAN53 meeting of the Asia Pacific Advanced Network. Thanks once again, Honorable Keynote Speaker, Professor Dr. Badrul Huda Khan, and distinguished audience. Thank you.
We have reached the end of our first plenary session of APAN53. Thanks to Dr. Badrul H. Khan for the wonderful presentation and such an informative session on our blended learning and outcome-based education session. Thanks to Professor Dr. Bishoji Chando for chairing this session. We will be back shortly within 5 minutes, and our next session will be on smart agriculture. So please stay tuned, and we will be back in 5 minutes. So stay tuned. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on wherever you're located. Welcome to the second plenary session of APAN53. In this session, we will have a presentation on smart agriculture. Smart agriculture, as we all know, relates with increased productivity, improved resilience, and agriculture that mitigates climate change. Hence, under the present perspective, while everybody is pretty concerned about increased population and associated climate change, I believe today's session will bring some additional light in moving forward. The paper on smart agriculture is going to be presented by Dr. Wais Kabir, a renowned agriculturist and former Executive Director CEO, Krishi Gobeshona Foundation, KGF, Bangladesh. He is also a distinguished orator, author, and consultant in the field of agriculture. The session will be chaired by Professor Dr. Lutful Hassan, Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Bangladesh Agricultural University. Let me give a brief introduction to Professor Lutful Hassan. Dr. Hassan, an internationally reputed scientist, was appointed as the 24th Vice-Chancellor of the university. He did his BSc in agriculture in 1976 and MSc in genetics and plant breeding in 1977. He joined as a teacher at BAU in 1981. He completed his Ph.D. from University of Wales in the United Kingdom in 1989 and also did his postdoctoral researches under fellowships from UK, Japan, Germany, and USA. Let me brief the structure of the session. At the beginning of the session, once the chair finishes introducing the speaker, there will be 30 minutes presentation from the speaker. The floor will then be open to the audience to ask questions for speaker to answer. The question may be asked using Zoom question answer for the chair to collect your questions to forward it to speaker, or you may raise your hand for the chair to allow you to ask the question by yourself. The question and answering session will be of 15 minutes duration. Finally, the chair will wrap up the session with his concluding remarks. With that note, I'm going to hand over the microphone to Honorable Chair to conduct the session. Professor Dr. Lutful Hassan, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you very much, Master of Ceremony and the audience. I would like to invite Dr. Wais Kabir. Before that, I would like to present a short profile about Dr. Wais Kabir. As we understand it very well, that today our talk will be on smart agriculture. And all of us, it's very much known to us, this is an important area. And from among the important areas, we have selected smart agriculture because this is the need of the country at this moment. And not only the country, it's the need of the globe at this moment. So before we start, I would like to introduce the renowned scientist who will present this keynote speech today. He is Dr. Wais Kabir. Dr. Wais Kabir is a known agricultural scientist in Bangladesh and the globe also. He was successful executive chairman of Bangladesh Agricultural Research Council, which is the apex body of the National Agricultural Research System, that is NARS system. Dr. Wais Kabir also worked with FAO as team leader and Agriculture Research Foundation as executive director. Dr. Kabir also led SARC Agriculture Center as director. He has delivered number of keynotes at home and abroad in diversified fields of agriculture. He also led formulation of national agricultural policy and agri-extension policy. He has been making significant contribution in agriculture in Bangladesh. With these few words and introduction, I would like to invite Dr. Wais Kabir to come up with his presentation on smart agriculture. And so that, yeah, thank you very much. Dr. Wais Kabir, please.
Thank you, Honorable Vice-Chancellor, for introducing me with nice words. And again, I appreciate APAN for really engaging me in delivering this keynote speech or remark on smart agriculture. In fact, agriculture is really a vast area which will require a wide dimension, but I'll be trying to confine my delivery on what are the priorities to fix smart agriculture to improve the food system. But of course, while talking about that, I'll consider the South Asian and Southeast Asian context so that we can learn from each other. For example, while talking about the context, like many other South Asian countries, or even in Southeast Asian countries, agriculture is transforming at a faster rate, responding to market, climate change, and innovations. And like many other countries, due to urbanization, we need diversified food items away from rice to non-rice, and again, animal protein. As a result, we need to intensify the cropping. And while intensifying cropping, we see adequate pressure on natural resources like soil, water, and other resources, and that resulted in decreasing the productive capacity of the natural resources. That is to be reversed. And again, while having this agriculture production system, we have a shifting trend towards safe and nutritious food for growing urbanization. And also we see the emergence of private sector and also the media in agriculture, which is becoming vibrant in transforming agricultural knowledge and technology at the farmer's field. And I feel we need to further intensify that. And also agriculture is becoming more knowledge driven. While we talk about mechanization, we talk about agro-processing, we see the same trend is going on in South Asian countries. As a result, what I see that we need to reposition our institution with local and global knowledge. Talking about the success, we have successes, of course, led by Green Revolution, which triggered rice and wheat during 60s and 70s, but that benefited, of course, Asia, Pacific region, Africa. But of course, we had greatly benefited out of that. Beyond rice and wheat, we have better production environment in potato, vegetable, fishes, and livestock. So that is something success we have to highlight. But again, while talking about the self-sufficiency dilemma, I do not think the individual countries can claim to be self-sufficient. See, rather, we need to make the food available or better available of the foodstuff through import or trading and local production together. As a result, we need to plan our total production system and our agriculture system as a whole. But success didn't come with Green Revolution alone. The rural infrastructure, connecting the market to farm, water management, these also played a role and has been playing a role not only in Bangladesh, even beyond. But again, National Agriculture Research and Extension System built in those countries had a greater role to play. But with the emergence of ICT-led development in technology development and dissemination also playing greater role and will be playing in future. But of course, international collaboration in technology development by the CGIAR system, like International Rice Research, International Wheat and Maize Research, World Fish Center, World Vegetable Center, UN, multilateral and bilateral research agencies are playing greater role in many other countries to make agriculture more productive, more natural resource friendly. But again, while talking about the trade, the MC already mentioned about the land and farm size decreasing over Asia Pacific region, and smallholder dominated farming is really taking place. Risk associated with climate, but of course, with that, we have risk with market, risk with biotic and abiotic stress in agriculture, crop science, in livestock and fisheries. The preservation and storability of the agro-produce is becoming a real threat. And again, in Asian farmers, the growers are having lesser margin and they are having less bargaining capacity in selling their produce. These are some issues that are really knocking us. But again, farmers are going towards non-farm sector because of non-farm sector is becoming more remunerative. As a result, we see labor shortage in agriculture and also lack of value addition in agricultural produce. Low productivity. MC already mentioned that Bangladesh having low productivity in many areas. Of course, we are better off in many South Asian countries. But while talking about the major rice stable, we see China has 7 tons per hectare, but Bangladesh has 4 tons per hectare. What is the solution? Solution could be hybrid technology. So these are some thoughts and ideas we need to adopt, we need to take care so that we enhance our productivity. Productivity goes with livestock, fisheries, and any other. So productivity enhancement and farm income is prime focus of the country. But again, our rice-based diet is something to do because too much consumption of rice, though our experiences says that the consumption should go down, but again, as population is increasing, we see 160 kilogram of rice per person per year, but now we see an increased trend of 180 kgs. So as a result, we see a tremendous pressure on rice, and rice is not a crop commodity. It has some implication with political dimension. That's the result. We need to consider about our cropping pattern with rice or some other. And of course, we see a significant yield gap with the farmer's field and the experimental station. This is maybe a result of land tenurial system because the tenurial farmers may not really want to invest more in the production system as he is a tenant farmer. So these are something going on in Asian agriculture that we need to develop our policies accordingly. I want to share this slide with you. You see in the lower part, we see the natural hazard in the name of river floods, flash flood, flood due to heavy rainfall, tidal flood, drought, cyclones. These are mostly taken in a window from a April mostly until October. So whatever cropping pattern we develop, whatever crop we develop, we must escape this hazardous seasons during this period. So we have a favorable climatic zone in the dry winter, and so we need to harvest the maximum production during this time. On, of course, while talking about this hazardous period, we need to consider the period which can affect the production system. So addressing the climate change, I want to share with you that short duration will remain the prime focus. I know our Vice-Chancellor, very prominent scientist, is very much involved in developing short duration crop varieties, including pulse and well seed, more saline tolerant varieties. But again, in combination with that, we need to have flash flood submergence tolerant, heat and cold and heat resistant wheat and rice for saline prone southern region, drought tolerant crop for lowland ecosystem, water saving aerobic rice for irrigation ecosystem, nutrient rich crop, and pest resistance. We have already in our hand the fortified crop varieties rich in zinc, iron, and of course reducing the greenhouse gas, particularly deep fertilizer placement could be one, renewable energy, and some other options are available. While talking about smart agriculture that involves with efficient farming practices, focusing entrepreneurial approach that should remain, and again reducing the cost of production as cost of production is going high and farmers are not getting remunerable price. High income through marketing, less environmental pollution, volume to value product will be the focus, less drudgery-led production system with the help of mechanization, empowering women in youth, as our future generations will be dominated by youth and women. So we have to empower those and organized farming through group approach like common interest group, farmers producers organization, cooperative and co-management in farming, as individualistic way may not really serve, as I said, mechanization and harnessing the potential of ICT-led tools. What I want to share with you about the agro-business incubation, which is getting popular nowadays, more particularly in recent past several years, that while talking about the seed and fertilizer, we don't have much problem in spreading those through our conventional extension system. But while talking about the commercialization of agro-processing, commercialization of agro-business model and other involving the educated youth through small and medium enterprise, we need to bring the agro-business incubation. And these are mostly done by the universities. That's the reason, with the presence of the present chair, I made this presentation or this slide for him. As I said, this requires infrastructure, policies, financing, and critical enabler. And I see universities are now opening agro-business incubation hub in most of the universities. And this is gaining momentum around the world, like Indonesia, India, and Malaysia. And I see the potential candidates for these could be agro-processing, like product development, packaging, branding, and transportation, market innovation, ICT, agro-tourism, a digital farm solution, and many others. And I think the Bangladesh Bank, the central bank, instructed all the commercial banks to get their cooperative services, which is popularly known as CSR, and low interest loan can be tapped to really popularize this agro entrepreneurship with the involvement of educated youth. And again, while talking about agriculture innovations that need upscaling is precision agriculture, that is ICT-led input efficient fertilizer application, which is very much location specific, conservation agriculture to reduce labor, greenhouse gas emission, input like minimum tillage or reduced tillage, nanotechnology in agriculture input like fertilizer, pesticide, and agro processing. Many countries, particularly developed countries, are really harnessing the nanotechnology, that it is our time before it is too late to tap the potential of nanotechnology. Remote sensing for precision prediction will remain a potential area. Location specific input use like fertilizer recommendation guide, crop suitability through GIS technology, sensor-based ICT-led farming like livestock farming, aquaculture. These are becoming popular among the private sector. To me, we need to upscale all those, including the public sector, so that this kind of digitally based production system can get popular. While talking about the priority in agriculture research in the technology system, I think effective coordination and ensuring accountability will remain focused. Again, retention of merit like incentive, promotion, higher training in the research system will require attention. Enhancing knowledge and skill, including leadership in whole technology system. Collaborative research with international centers, universities, and private sector like coordinated research approach to address a particular research question will be required. Harnessing the biotechnology, remote sensing, and ICT, as I have already said. One thing is interesting to note that Bangladesh is investing only 0.38% of agriculture GDP in agriculture research, while Thailand is investing 0.94, Sri Lanka is 0.62, and Malaysia is 0.85. We must enhance our investment in agriculture research at least at 0.8%. But for that matter, we need to enhance the capacity of the institutions. Priority of the technology delivery system is also the same. We need to diversify our extension delivery system. Like extension is no more seed and fertilizer. It will require post-harvest mechanization, agribusiness, hybrid technology, natural resource management, good agriculture practice, and many others. And private sector participation in the extension delivery will be required. Capacity building of the producer organization will be required. Institutional transformation towards enhanced capacity in skill and knowledge, empowerment of youth and women. I have said already, we have in Bangladesh number of apps developed for farmer-friendly advisory services that needs to be further available to the farmers doorstep. Learning from the pandemic connected us virtually during last 2.5 years. Online-based communication became part of our life. Now it is the time to learn the lesson of networking with the region-based farmers with the help of existing extension services involving biophysical parameters like southern agriculture may not be same like the northern agriculture. So in the hub-based networking with the farmers will really help to accelerate the agriculture technology delivery system. For that matter, NREN and BDREN could be utilized for future use. I want to share further with you the research extension education linkage. In our Bangladesh, agriculture research extension linkage is really ad hoc and project based. But we have some successful story. For example, research, extension, and education linkages model, like Agriculture Technology Management Agency in Atma, funded by Central Government of India, or Krishi Vigyan Kendra model in India, with the involvement of state agriculture universities, are very much vibrant. They are district level, they are very much visible at the service of the farmers. I think we have number of universities in Bangladesh, in most of the agroecological zones. We may learn from cooperative extension system of USA, University of Philippines, Los Baños, or Kesat University in Thailand, and many other universities. Bangladesh should harness the potential of agriculture universities in different agroecological zones through networking with regional research, extension, and private sector. So this is the high time. For example, in Dinajpur, we have Haji Danish University. In Mymensingh, we have and the universities are hub of knowledge and skill. And we are the students of these universities. And large number of students are really working in the system. So I think this is high time for us to consider all the opportunities available. Probably I'm going to the later part, organizing nutrition sensitive food system. Nutrition is getting priority, as I've said earlier, in Asian development agenda. Government, NGOs, international programs, universities are really working in fortification program and many other nutrition campaign. And I think private sector involvement in food system will be needed. But again, there are dual responsibility of the authorities that needs coordination. For example, in Bangladesh, Bangladesh Food Safety Authority under Ministry of Food and BSTI, Standard and Testing Institute under Ministry of Industry. We need to have a better coordination among these two. Even in India, we see Food Safety and Standard Authority under Ministry of Health again, but Standard Institution under Ministry of Consumer Affairs. And in Nepal, it is Ministry of Agriculture under Department of Food Technology and Quality Control, while National Standard Institution under Ministry of Industry. So we need to learn from our developing partners so that we develop our system accordingly. As I try to share this slide, like we have education on the top, as I have said, it could be formal or informal. And of course, government is in central, research and extension should go together, involving producers and private sector. And lastly, what I want to share, that political leadership, professionals, and bureaucracy, there must be harmony among these three groups to really make Bangladesh a prosperous country. As In the last slide, I want to share with you that Bangladesh is lucky to have graduating towards developing country. Of course, this is a turning point, but we need to develop our institutions accordingly to deliver these services being a developing country. And our food system is yet to be fixed. We need to strengthen the capacity. Collaboration and cooperation will be needed, involving private sector and ensuring horizontal accountability, not only the vertical accountability. And harnessing the international scientific innovation will be required. Quality investment in agriculture is not investment alone, but of course we need to have a quality investment in agriculture, not to repeat the investment again. Adequate space for the private sector growth will be required, and of course harnessing the potential of ICT, which I have been telling. With this, thank you again, everyone, for listening my remarks and my points. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wais Kabir. This is an excellent presentation and well covered, and much knowledge has been delivered by you. Thank you very much for all these presentation and giving a very thoughtful and going a very good thoughtful ideas through your presentation, that how this smart agriculture can help Bangladesh and the Southeast Asian country. Not only that, those who are in the country where the climate change is an issue. As we know very well that climate changes are at a rise, not only in Bangladesh, in many countries. That is why we need to address this climate change very carefully through this smart agriculture. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think now we can discuss. The floor is open for you. If you have any question or if you have any comments, please go through them now. Yes, yes. Okay. Anybody, if there is anybody to ask? Okay. Did you see Dr. Wais Kabir?
Yes.
Did you see the questions
yes,
over there?
I have seen one question like smart agriculture, increasing production, as well as green technology, whether they contradict each other. I do not think, as I have already mentioned, that we must not, the smart agriculture must ensure the green growth in agriculture. If it cannot really address the green growth, it must not be a smart agriculture. But I do not know what the question really addressed to. For example, whether he understood something like any particular slide or any particular bullet point, whether that makes them confusion or make him confusion about this one. Please.
Yes,
clarify.
the thing is that, can I add a little bit more with Dr. Wais Kabir? It's very clear that green is smart agriculture and then green technology. This is side by side. This goes together. I mean, green technology is always there, but the smart agriculture will address all the gaps, and they can come forward in that way very clearly. So it's we should not contradict with them. Really. Yeah. Thank you. Any other question? Any other queries or any other comments? Okay.
Hello, sir. There is another question.
Yeah.
How do you see transformation of agriculture towards 4IR in Bangladesh?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, please, Dr. Wais-Kabir. How do
Yes,
you see?
in fact, this smart agriculture involving the modern technologies in modern technologies will must fit the fourth industrial revolution. For example, as we see the more automation in agriculture, artificial intelligence is really being used in agriculture. As I have said, the use of nanotechnology is coming forward. Mechanization, more particularly precision farming, using the advanced tools and knowledge, of course, is supplementing the fourth industrial revolution in agriculture. Probably that's what I think should go together hands in hand as the agriculture is transforming towards more labor saving way, as we see less number of labor is available in agriculture. So this should go together. I do not know whether I could answer your question.
No, I think Dr. Wais-Kabir said it quite correctly. Another thing is that entrepreneurial approach. You already discussed this one, and along with that, entrepreneurial intervention, we'll have agro businesses over there. I mean, so that these are transformation. It will definitely exercise over there. Now then, did you see another question, that is how NRENs can contribute in smart agriculture?
BDREN,
for example, how BDREN can contribute
BDREN,
smart agriculture. Let us put it in this way.
In fact, there are a number of, I said already that we need to have a database of farmers, regional level farmers, and of course we have, but we need to intensify this database for the use of the transferring technologies, ideas, market price, and making the growers up to date. For that matter, the BDREN and other networking platforms can be involved in agricultural production system to deliver the knowledge services. And again, marketing, which is becoming a very important issue nowadays, because the government is concerned that we must make the agriculture profitable. As we see, the landowners are really not in the farm; they are migrating towards cities, towards non-farm job. To make the agriculture profitable, we need to make the growers more knowledgeable with the better knowledge services. For that matter, this platform can be tapped with the existing platform like apps available, so that both can benefit each other.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wais-Kabir. Basically, we are running out of time. We understand it very well. We must finish within time because there is another session over there. Now, wrap it off. What I want to say a few words over here. Dr. Wais-Kabir already ventilated the idea that we have a sort of self-sufficiency already in the government, and the Bangladesh people already achieved the food security. Now we are working, and the government is working along with all the stakeholders. Government is working to achieve the nutrition security here in Bangladesh. And apart from that, with this food security and nutrition security, we need to have safe food. That is the most important one. So these are the three things we are working together. And to improve the situation of climatic change, we understand it very well. Bangladesh is very much affected by submergence tolerance, by drought tolerance, by salinity, by heat and cold, and there are several other factors are there due to these climate change issues. And all these issues we are taking in consideration. And this today in the presentation of Dr. Wais Kabir, this had been addressed very clearly, because we need to work for the development of crops, livestock, fisheries, mechanization, value addition, and finally this marketing, and then agro businesses, agro processing. All these are in close contact with this smart agriculture. And some of the things already he has explained it in a very nice way. That is why I would like to appreciate, and let us work together so that not only in Bangladesh, throughout the globe, we can address all these, particularly the production, increase in production is very much important. Not only in Bangladesh, everywhere in Southeast Asian countries, and not only in Southeast Asian countries, other countries also. So this is number one agenda, that we need to introduce, we need to have more production, we need to have more food from less soil or less areas of cultivation. So these are the few important things, but the attention is there. So we need to work together, the government, the ministries, for example, the University Grants Commission, all the ministries and universities, all the National Agricultural Research System, that is NARS system, and our farming community, that is the farmers, and the private sectors, and the international organizations. All these we need to work together to, so that the livelihood of the farmers are really, really improved in this country. With these few words, I would like to extend my thanks to APAN and the BDREN for conducting such a very good, important seminar. And this is a timely seminar. That is why I would like to extend my thanks to the University Grants Commission, particularly the Honorable Chairman and the Honorable members of University Grants Commission for their efforts, so that we can deliver, or we can transform the agriculture to fourth industrial revolution. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Wais Kabir, and thank you to all the audience, and thank you, UGC. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wais Kabir and Professor Lutful Hassan, for such informative piece on smart agriculture. And everyone else who is with us in this session, we will be back shortly with the Asia Pacific Europe ring signing event session. So stay tuned.
Right. You come to the third part of this prime time session. It's the Asia Pacific Europe Ring MOU. Hi, sorry. My name is Francis, and this is the third segment of this session. It's the Asia Pacific Europe Ring MOU signing. This is significant milestones that bring researchers from EU, Asia Pacific, and Saudi Arabia together. To tell you more about it, I'd like to invite Alexander van der Heel from SURF to make a short presentation. Alexander, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Francis. My name is Alexander van den Heel. I'm product manager and coordinator of international affairs at SURF in the Netherlands. SURF is also an active player in Europe, so I'm quite involved in Geant as well. I want to introduce you now on a high level to the Asia Pacific Ring. If you have questions after this talk, don't hesitate to reach out to me and using the conference app. Global collaboration is everywhere, of course. We all know huge projects like SKA, the Large Hadron Collider in Geneva, or the big dishes of Jive. But there are also thousands of less visible, but still very important and successful projects. For example, V2 for Vietnam, he works on a Japan-EU project on material science out of Belgium. We also have Rocco, he's an Italian archaeologist, and he's working for an American university in the Middle East. There's Maarten, based in the far north on Svalbard.
Alexander, could you share your slides?
Oh yeah, of course. Something went wrong. Let me see.
Okay, great.
Is it there now?
Yes.
Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you. Yeah.
So where was I? I think I was talking about Maarten. He is based in the far north on Svalbard. He's doing goose tracking from there. Then we have the Belgica. That's a Ukrainian research vessel for marine ecology and environmental monitoring. It carries a lot of Ukrainian and international researchers. Then we have Paul, an astronomist using the Black Gem Array in Le Chile, in Chile. And as Felix, he's organizing German-Japan hackathons for elderly care robots. But there's also a lot of students, of course, like Sophie. Something's happening with my screen. I don't know if that's there as well. Sophie from Europe, she studies biomedical engineering in Sydney in Australia. And every day, of course, millions of students are in their classrooms or homes collaborating and using information systems everywhere. For all those people and projects, network connectivity, not just within the country, but everywhere is essential. And this is why SingAREN, Nordunet, AARnet, NICT, Geant, SURF, NII, and TEIN*CC started the AER system 3 years ago to fulfill the needs of world-class capacity for scientists and students. And these parties combined their links into a resilient system from London and Amsterdam in Europe, and from Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Singapore in Asia. Together, there was a 200 gig system. Of course, this system is also well connected to other initiatives important for the Global Research and Education Network, the GREN. That's to the left of your screen, the ANA system, connecting parties across the Atlantic. And on the right, APANet, which was at that time the APR, the Asia Pacific Ring. And that system connects the parties over the Pacific area. At APAN48, the conference in Malaysia, the Memorandum of Understanding, the first version was signed. And today, I think we are very happy to announce that the AER collaboration not only continues, but also that new parties are on board. With these new parties, we have increased capacity, 400 gig, with KAUST from Saudi Arabia and HARNET from Hong Kong. The capacity is now available for science and education between Europe, the Asia Pacific, and also in the Middle East. The system is using 4 different cable systems between Asia and Europe, and this will bring increased resilience as well. And today, here in Bangladesh, virtually, all parties will sign the Memorandum of Understanding. And for that signing, I head back to Professor Francis Lee. Francis?
Thank you very much, Alexander. It was a very nice sharing of a resilient network that's to build across between Europe and Asia and Saudi Arabia, so that our researchers can transfer a large amount of data across them. The next section of this signing event is I would like to get the signatories for each of the 10 organizations that are involved in this MOU to say a word or two about the MOU. I'll first like to call on Steve Maddock from AARnet, the Director of International Matters at AARnet, Australia. Steve?
Thank you, Francis. And it's exciting, I think, to see this partnership both grow and continue for a further 3 years. It's already been mentioned, but diversity and resilience in our global network of research and education networks is vital for enabling life-changing research and education around the world. Thank you, Francis.
Thank you, Steve. Our next call on the representative from Geant, Helga Spitler.
On behalf of Geant CEO Erik Hauser, I'd like to thank Francis for his leadership and everyone here present and also behind the scenes for making this signing ceremony happen today. Geant welcomes the continuation of the AER partnership and the joining of additional members, injecting, as we heard before, additional capacity and resilience into this network ring and backup mechanism. Personally, I feel privileged to witness the power of our contribution in empowering our scientists, researchers, educators, and learners to engage in collaborative research and education activities on a global scale. And to conclude, I come from a very large Italian family, so I look forward to seeing also the AER family to grow further still in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Helga. Our next call on John Hui from JUCC, who is the chairman of the steering committee. John?
Thank you, Francis. AER partners, good afternoon. It's my pleasure to join you today at the MOU signing ceremony. In the global research and education network system, resilience plays a vital role and could only be achieved through joint effort. Speaking on behalf of JUCC and HARNET, we are pleased to join this partnership and be part of the robust and resilience network across Europe and Asia. I believe that all researchers and higher education users in Hong Kong, as well as our counterparts worldwide, would benefit from this collaboration as we strive for research and academic excellence together. We also look forward to the sharing of knowledge and skills in management and technology through the various joint events. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, John. The next call on Jason Rue from KAUST, the CIO.
Yes, it's truly an honor to be part of this collaborative effort. KAUST, the lifeblood of KAUST higher education and research efforts depends on the ability to be able to transfer data around the world. And the fact that we have over 100 nationalities working at KAUST, we are a global university that needs the connectivity to really serve the globe well. So being part of this effort, we're very excited about it, and I look forward to what we can do together. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Our next call upon Ibaraki Hisoshi from NICT, He's the Vice President and member of the Board of Directors.
Thank you. It is a great honor for NICT to enhance our collaboration of AER MOU with leading edge networks and organizations across the Asian Pacific and Europe. NICT's mission is to address social issues and create new values through the advancement of information and communication technologies. To achieve this mission, NICT has been enhancing its high-speed network testbed for research and development toward the beyond 5G era. As we expand and enrich our collaboration across 10 networks in the Asian Pacific and Europe, we look forward to conducting further joint experiments and research activities with partner institutions around the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibaraki-san. From NNI, I would like to invite Shige Urushidani, Deputy Director General.
Thank you, Francis, and thank you for arranging this nice ceremony. I'm very happy to join this enhanced partnership for providing high-speed and resilient network environment to many research and education communities. In addition to the existing connection between Europe and the Asia-Pacific regions, I think new Arabian Peninsula route is very attractive for enhancing the resilience and for more global collaborations in research and education. SingAREN would like to contribute to the growth of this network environment as much as possible by increasing the line bandwidth and enhance the resilience in the near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shijo-san. Next, I'll call on Vector No from Nordunet, the CEO.
Thank you, Francis. As a long-time believer in collaborations, I'm very happy to see this being set up. I also want to extend my regards and thank you for everyone that has made this possible, who has worked in the background for a long time to make this happen. So big thank you. So the extended collaboration, building on the previous work of the AER partners, is a proof that collaboration in the global research and education networks brings benefits to us all. I welcome our new partners KAUST and HARNET to AER. I am convinced that this next step in AER's development will strengthen the network interconnect with the Asia Pacific region and the Arabian Peninsula from Europe for the joint benefits of users in science, research, and higher education. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, I'll call on Harold Tennyson from SERV.
Yes, thank you very much, Francis. So working with the institutes in the Asia Pacific region is extremely important for the Netherlands and for the SERV members. And we are really excited that this group of leading R&E network organizations is showing the power of true collaboration and making another step in bringing two continents digital closer. And even if you go for a global ring, this will be an excellent stepping point there. Thank you, Francis.
Thank you very much, Harold. Next, I would like to call on Professor Lawrence Wong from SingAREN.
Thank you, Francis. So the continuation and expansion of the AER MOU underscores the strong cooperation among the MOU partners in fostering cutting-edge research and education that is made possible with the highly resilient network coupled with cooperative performance network management. I'd like to welcome, of course, our new partners, HARNET and KAUST as well. And in closing, SingAREN is delighted to be with this community to make possible a highly resilient network for our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lawrence. Next, I'll call upon Louis from Trans-Eurasia Information Network Cooperation Center. Louis?
Yeah, hello everyone. So thank you, Francis. I'm Luciano Choi, Executive Officer of TEIN.cc. Basically, AER MOU contains a lot of efforts and the will of our AER partners. I think that I sincerely welcome our all partners, and I'm confident this Asia Pacific Ring, AER, will ensure the RNA networks sustainability and TL and DTL, the RNA, our communities more closely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Louis. I'll next like to call upon the signatories to sign the MOU. And once you completed signing the MOU, you just bring up the document, a signed page in front of you. Yeah, to take a picture. Yeah. Don't cover your face, please. Put it a bit lower. Steve, I need to see your face. Right. Okay, everyone. Can we take a shot? Yep. Okay, I'm going to take another picture, which is without the MOU, just your face without the MOU. Okay. 1, 2, 3. No need, Louis. No need the MOU. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much for picture taking. I really have to thank all the signatories, and there are a lot of people that are working in the background to get the MOU signed. And it is for all of you, okay, researchers, to make full use of it. Now you see the fireworks coming out now from the event. Thank you, everyone, and the signatories, and thank you all to all the participants. I hope to see you all in person soon, and take care, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.